depression was increasing, and like women were struggling with like Zoom and stuff like that, because you're constantly looking at a mirror pretty much all day instead of in person. So like women are like, it's just like our confidence was just, it felt so lacking, and like we didn't value ourselves the way that we should value ourselves. And like I don't ever like call myself like a princess or a queen or anything like that. I don't do those types of things. But like in the sense, like women should really think of themselves and value themselves like royalty. I truly believe that. Like, yeah, you have to, because if you don't, men won't, or whoever you're pursuing, and it's just like no one will value you if you don't value yourself. And I just realized
exactly. How can you respect someone if you don't respect how can someone respect you if you don't respect yourself?
Exactly. So I was just like, I am sick and tired of, and I felt like in like the workspace and like my personal life, it felt very much of like people hating, or like because of like, oh, she's an NFL cheerleader and this, and like I'm just gonna try to tear her down or whatever, blah, blah, like the negativity. And it was just like, how about you learn something, chick, from me, and how about you understand that I'm here and I'm trying to be supportive. Like, why are you so worried about me? Like, what? First of all, work on yourself. Like, I think people are so like, you know what I mean? It's like, go get in the gym, like focus on your own things. Like, if you have time to be hating on other people, like you're not doing enough. Enough. You need to fill your schedule, because I don't have time to be worried about anybody except what I'm doing today, because I'm like, I got a million things to do. And it's like, but that puts me in a place where I don't look at other people or other women like competition. I look at them as people who I can learn from. And like there's no reason to feel like you have to compete with another woman for anything. Like, we are all in this together as humans too, like men too, like we are all in this together. So it's like, stop competing and start learning from each other. And so like I was just like, women need, and I like expensive things and to do fun things and to travel and stuff. Who doesn't? And I was like, why and like my friends saw me traveling, so I told you I went to Paris and Ireland and like all these places, and they're like, oh my gosh, you get to do all these fun things. I'm like, first of all, it's not that expensive if you save your money and you spend it on the right things and the experiences, not like BS. And you can come too. I'm like, we can do a girls trip. I'm like, why aren't you coming? Take the time off and do it. So I was like, yeah, we're doing retreats. So that's where that came from.
That is so freaking cool. So you mentioned something interesting, which is, I think, is a really important thing to hit on. Like, there's people who were trying to be negative in your life and trying to like, shit on what you're doing. And because I know people try to do that to me, especially with baseball. Like, I just heard someone the other day, one of my friends was telling me that he knows somebody who's like, I thought of like, they knew like so many people better than me in baseball when I was younger. And I was like, okay. I was like, good for you. I was like, one, you never reach out to me, so I don't care what you think. And two, I work my ass off, and now where I'm at. So, I mean, congrats to you for trying to shit on me.
Exactly. And you have to block out the BS, and you have to think about it just the way that you did. And honestly, like, it's amazing how people can I remember I heard somebody say like, oh, she only made the Falcons because she was black. Like, and it's just like, okay, like you're just like people really have time, and you can't be mad about it. I honestly feel bad. Like, I'm just like,
it's laughable. It's laughable.
It is. And I'm like, I'm over, like you said, we're working our asses off. I'm like, and that's why I don't have time to be worried about other people. I'm like, if we want to be cool, we want to be friends, I'm here mutually supporting you, and I'm expecting the same in return. Like, if you don't feel that way, I don't have time for you, but I'm not rooting against you. I'm not going to go in return and talk shit about you, because I don't have time, first of all. And it's like, I don't want to be that person either. Like, I hate being that person that's like talking about other people negatively. It's like,
it makes zero sense. That's a fake person. That's a fake person.
Exactly. And it's like, you don't know what other people are going through either. Like, like during that time, it's like, I was really struggling with, like I told you, with like finding like how to balance, like, working out and eating well and like my everything. Like, it's just like, and family stuff, whatever. Like, you never know what goes on in someone's life. Like,
yes, you got to stop and think.
Stop and think about it and be like, okay, do I really want to add more shit onto this person's life? I don't know why we've said shit so many times in this podcast.
Hey,
but
it's natural.
It is natural. And I'm just saying, I think people need to do a better job of understanding that everyone's trying to do the best that they can. You have to be understanding and like focus on yourself and like be happy with yourself, so then you don't have to focus on other people and be negative about other people. It's pointless.
Yeah.
Start a business and find out how much time you got to talk about other people. Like, honestly, it's so funny because I see people on like Facebook and like, or like when I started Torch, I like put it on there. I saw so many, I got like a lot of hits on Facebook, like the first couple weeks that I was like putting it out there because military women started seeing it. I put it on TikTok, whatever. The comments were the funny ones are like, oh, I'm just here to see the negative comments about this girl's this, or like what a stupid idea, or whatever, blah blah. But then there's always the positive ones too. That are like, this is genius and this is whatever, blah blah. But like, I look at those people who have the time to actually comment, like post it, then like I'm like, honestly, like I feel so bad for you. You have so much time.
You got exactly. They're the people who aren't doing anything with their lives, and they have to make themselves feel better. That's what makes them feel better. So good for them trying to do that.
I know, you feel bad. You're like, okay, lady, like have a nice life, like whatever. So you just have to give them grace, and you give yourself grace, and just know that if it's something that you want to go after, you're gonna have people that are gonna shit on you, or not gonna like you, or they're gonna try to tear you down, and you can't let anybody do that to you. You just can't.
You're right, and I'll tell you, there was back home there there's like this bar that everyone goes to on Thanksgiving Eve, and like I wanted to go just to see everyone, and I get curious what people look like nowadays and what they do. Like it gets curious, right?
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. It's like the most lit night of the year or something.
Yeah, exactly. And there was people coming up to me, and they were like, "Can I just say I love what you're doing?" And like they're like, "Oh, is your video there?"
Oh, nope, you're good. You're good. Oh, hold on.
No, you're good. You're good.
Are you on? Oh wait, start video. Sorry.
There you go. You're good.
Sorry.
You're good. And he and like people were like, "Can I just say I love what you're doing?" And like, and it was cool to have people say that. And there was two people who knew out on a limb before they even knew me. Like I didn't know these people; they just knew out on a limb. I was like, "That's pretty cool." So like, but it's cool when you start getting that recognition. And like I told one of my friends who I was talking about baseball, and I was telling him how there's people like being negative about that. Like just came up, and he's like, "Don't think about that. Like there's no point in thinking about that. Like screw them."
Exactly. And true friends like that are so important to have.
Yeah. It's the coolest thing. And
it's great. People that do the supporting, like you're like, oh, like thank you. Really appreciate it.
It's nice. And like I get weird sometimes, like because I feel like I don't know if I want to say I'm humble, because I definitely want to say I am, but like I'm saying, like when I tell people what I'm doing, like I feel weird because then I start thinking like they start thinking about what they're doing, and like it bothers them sometimes. That bothers me because like I hate like trying to make someone feel bad. Like I'm just being honest about what I do.
No, I know. It's so funny. I had this conversation with my photographer a little while ago when I first started, and we talked about how sometimes it's difficult to say all the things that we're doing. Like I'm like with everything that he does like 1,000,005 things too, because he grinds. Like he's awesome. And so we really connected on that level. That's why I brought him into Torch, because I was like, you're a grinder. I need people around me who are like that.
There you go, the entourage.
Exactly, the tribe. Like you got to build people like who are just great and they go-getters. And so he's like, sometimes I can't even tell like my family what I'm doing because they're not doing anything either. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like it's like a family member who's just been sitting at home doing nothing or doing the same thing and they're miserable or whatever. But I look at it as like it's all about how you present it and how you're talking about it. And like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself and like saying what you're doing. Like you just have to be like, this is what I'm doing, and like be matter of fact about it. But also like it's just like anything. There's just a way to say it and to go about it and to be. And it's not like you're out here and you're like flaunting like I have like blah blah. Like we're not those types of people. So like no, I think people who take it that way are just very insecure with themselves. But really, what we're really trying to do is just like, hey, look, like this is what I'm doing. I'm working my ass off. I'm myself, because I think for us too, the type of people we are, it is hard to like, well, for me, I know for me, it is a little uncomfortable sometimes. It was in the beginning, and I was like, oh, like I don't really want to be like boasting or like whatever, but I'm just like, I need to be proud of myself too. Like it's for Hayley,
Mm-hmm.
but like I had to put myself first before I put other people's emotions first. You know what I mean? Because like you can like be like, oh, I feel bad like for saying this, but at the same time, you might really inspire someone like to go after what they want to go after, and maybe it's not their
It is.
time. You know? Yeah, like I talk to people all the time. They're like, I just don't know what I'd want to do. That's so cool you did it, but I just don't know what I'd want to do. And I'm like, okay, like that's fine. I didn't know I just started it randomly the other couple months ago. You know, I'm like, but when you do and you have something, I'll be here to help. You know, you can say stuff like that, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help and I'm here to support. Like you, like I can't wait to buy one of your shirts. Like I love like the small business space is so
Yeah.
amazing. It's so amazing. Like you want to support. I want to support everyone. I'm like, I don't have the money right now like that, but like I want us to buy your things, and I want to help you. And like the cool thing with my retreats, like I bring in like my friend did my from Strasbourg. She did my like custom T-shirts. She does custom T-shirts.
Oh,
I
that's
brought
freaking
like,
awesome.
yes, like all those things, like bringing in women who are starting their own business, stuff like that. It's like you feel so good about yourself. Like I just you just have to understand people are where they are, and timing is timing, and all those things. Like, and if you're humble and you come at it with your good intentions, like you just have to know yourself. That's just you just know
Right.
yourself.
And that's where it ends with, showing respect. And like when someone does say that stuff, like, I love, like, there's people who call me up and like, I motivate them. Like if they ask me a question, I pump them up and they're like, I appreciate it. Like someone just told me yesterday, cause I also sell wristbands. I've been selling like, this is the Christmas edition one I've been wearing. um,
That
but yeah, it's just a little another side thing. But someone messaged me yesterday and they're like, dude, your energy is electric. And I was like, that was awesome to hear. Like, it's like, you got it. Like when I tell people about what I do, it's always about, showing the respect, and they're like, oh, good for you. And I'm like, thank you. And then you ask what they're doing, and then you're like, oh, well, like you have like big ideas for them and you try to help them. So, I mean, it's so cool to have, met you, because it's such a similar mindset. And the brand, I just started in April, so we're very new.
amazing. It's
we
amazing.
we
Congrats.
well, congrats to you too, and we gotta figure out a way how to collab on something. That would be sick. I would love to collab with something.
That would be epic. That's what I was asking about your shoes, because I'm like, yo, that's something that I low key want to get into also. Like
Down the
boots.
line for sure.
Yeah, I want to get into like military boots and like military boots for
That'd be
women.
badass.
That'd be so epic. Are you kidding me? Like that'd be so epic. I'm like, and the thing is, like, I just haven't started researching yet because I don't have time. But I know when I start, I know the answers are gonna come to me. I'm like, they're gonna be epic
for sure.
too. Epic.
Epic. There you go. Like,
epic. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, I'm sure you want to be like this too. Like at the end of the day, like I always like I have that on my vision board too. Like I want to be, like a role model, like an inspiration. Like I want people to look up to me and like what I do. And yes, in baseball is like I'm in the like lower part of like independent league, and then the goal is to get signed and whatnot. But like to work your ass off and like to try that out, like it's the coolest thing. So like, and I'm sure you want to be like that, especially with women involved in the military.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I think at the end of the day, if your intentions are pure and you're doing your business, because you're passionate and you genuinely are trying to make a difference. Like that's the other thing. Like I want to kind of rope in like coaching and teaching, and like teaching women who are in the military about starting their own businesses and their resources and stuff like that. Like genuinely, like I sell my bodysuits, like that's just the product, but like you want a whole culture because you know that you are coming from a good place. And it's like, and I'm realizing more and more the people who have started these companies, stuff like that. I think a lot of people look at them and they're like, oh, they're all in it for the money and stuff like that. But and maybe some of them are, but like honestly, like the heart that goes into starting anything, like it's so funny. I like look at packaging now when I'm like buying things, if it's like from a small business or from a company, or I look at all the things that go into doing what we're doing, and it's like, no, someone has to really like this, and they really have to really like put a lot of time and energy and effort into it, and it's not easy. And there's days where you fail, there's days where you succeed. It's just like it's really hard. And so it's like I the utmost respect for entrepreneurs that have started companies and they're successful and they have a bunch of money, because at the end of the day, I think for me, even if I do like get a bunch of money, it's like I'm just excited that I'm influential now and I can help
Yes.
other people and I can give back.
That's exactly.
Yeah, I can give back. Yeah, it's so important. It's so important.
You're so right. I mean, that's the whole mindset. Like, yes, money is such a positive, right?
Yeah.
But but end of the day, it's you create that name for yourself, and the idea is to give back. That's that to me. Like I said, I love putting smiles on people's faces. That's the whole mindset to get that far, to get that big, to give back. And like my friend and I were collabing on a hoodie, and it's for all proceeds are going to charity and around our area, like this local charity we picked around our area. Like that shit.
Amazing.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. It is so cool, and it's like you know, it's honestly unreal. I'm really, really proud of you, and I'm really proud to like. I'm proud that you you went to Penn State, or both Penn Staters, and we're being super like great alum and all that stuff. Like it's just like the world needs more people like you. So thank you.
Well, no, like you too. Come on, that's why I asked you to be on. Like, I mean, I just felt we had, we would have a good connection. So I'm very happy with that. And I applaud. I know we went over the time, but I applaud you. Is there before we cut anything off? Is there anything that I missed that you would like to add to this podcast?
Honestly, you hit everything. And I guess I would just like to say thank you for having me on, and thank you for being so, passionate and genuine, and like keep going. And just everyone who's listening, like I hope they're inspired like by this conversation. So
well, I'm hoping that too. And this is like what I like to leave off on. What is one piece of advice you have for someone trying to get to a stage that you're currently at, whether it's women or just in general?
I would say you're going to go through struggles and you're going to go through hard times, and that is okay, and that is part of life, and you need to learn from those experiences, and that'll make you the most amazing person. If you can learn from your hard times and become better, you will be such an intuitive, like intelligent emotionally, and finding all the things. You will be so intelligent because of the hard things that you've been through. And like just think like I'm here today, but I've been through some really tough times, and it's like I learned from them, and I'm continuously working on myself and trying to spread love and not let the world get to you and tear you down. Don't let the world tear you down, and embrace those hard times and learn from them and become a better person.
You are. I mean, this is incredible. Where can people follow you at? Where do you could tag your stuff too?
Yeah, so my personal at @I am_Hayley Marie, and then Torch is @Torch_by Hayley Marie, and then Seek and Set Free is just Seek and Set Free.
Perfect. I'll put that on the screen. I'll add that in there. But Hayley, I mean, I'm glad we had this. I hope to stay close. Stay on after this podcast quick. But I mean, I appreciate everything. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Adam. Yes, we will. We're friends for life now.
Yes.
We're good to go. Supporting each other all the way. Here to support always.
Let's go. So we just went on a limb. Now you continue to grow this tree by doing something different, or just be yourself. Peace.
My homie selling chronic when my partners pushing property. My DJ making them sandwiches so that he can rock with me. My upgrading overtime underappreciated. Damn, I feel the pain. Know that it's under alleviated. Feel like I'm under a microscope. Dopify my particles. So you'll see me pop up in little critical articles talking about who's the next to the best.